So welcome to the pumpkin patch at Ridgefield Farm. We have really three fields of pumpkins at the farm. At the far end are the smaller pumpkins. During the weekdays in October, we host about 3,500 elementary school kids who come here on their fall field trip. And they learn about how pumpkins grow and about how apples grow. And as part of the field trip, they pick a pumpkin, and this is the size they pick. It's also a great pumpkin for little kids to carve. It's a good size for painting. So here we've got a couple of really nice sized pumpkins that would make great jack-o'-lanterns. We've got long ones with that are sort of oval, that make really great funny faces because they're long, and then the more traditional size like this. And so now if you need some ideas on what to do with your pumpkin after you've picked it at Ridgefield Farm, of course, just follow me. Alright, so of course picking a pumpkin is a lot of fun, but what's really a lot of fun for me is carving the pumpkin when you're done. Of course, some people like to just make a display of pumpkins, sort of like we have here. We've got all kinds of pumpkin carving sets, from the very basic set, which is something like this. Just has a simple knife and a scoop to scoop out the seeds and the pulp from inside the flesh. So we have a little bit more elaborate kit that comes with a book of stencils that you can use. Some of them are scary, most of them are just kind of fun. Anyway, with the stencils, it makes it really easy to carve a pumpkin. I've already put a stencil on this pumpkin. I didn't put it on as tightly as you need to, but basically it just tapes on like this. And with the stencil, you have a little tool, a little pick, and you just make a little hole all along the dotted lines, all around the stencil. And then when you're done, you take the stencil off the pumpkin, and you have on the pumpkin all these dotted lines, which then you could cut with a knife like this, a little saw, and just saw around. It makes it real easy to follow the lines, and you hardly ever make a mistake. So we have those, and then if you really want to cut through a lot of pumpkins at once, we have electric knives, and you can really make fast work out of cutting the same kind of pattern. So as you can see, there's lots of things you can do with pumpkins, and from the basic to the more elaborate. But there's so much more to do at Ridgefield Farm than just pick the pumpkins. Of course, it wouldn't be a pumpkin patch if we didn't have a giant corn maze. And this year we have two corn mazes. We have a really large one over here that's for adults and older kids. And then we have another large corn maze over here for the field trips for younger kids. So now we've just entered the smaller corn maze, the one that we use for the little kids, and sometimes adults, because they're afraid of the big one. And you can tell it's the kids' corn maze, of course, because we have action figures throughout the maze, and we've got Robin right here waiting for us. So already when you walk in, you have to decide whether you're going to go left or go right. And of course, if you pick the wrong direction, you may end up on a wild goose chase. And there are lots of false alleys and cul-de-sacs and choices to make that end up nowhere, but there is a way out. So thanks very much for coming to Ridgefield Farm and Orchard. And I say orchard because earlier in the year we do apple picking, so don't forget that. Visit us online at ridgefieldfarm.com. We're in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. It's only about 65 miles from DC. So come out and see us. Thank you.